Your rent or mortgage could literally be $600 a month for a brand new home, and the only reason it isn't is because we are playing a rigged game with made-up rules. We have been brainwashed into believing that a shortage of money is somehow good for society, which is honestly just as silly as believing the world is flat. We need to completely flip the script on how we view wealth, labor, and debt, because the current system is designed to keep you running on a hamster wheel forever. Let's break down a concept that actually frees us from debt slavery and unlocks a life where stress over money basically vanishes. The core idea here is simple but revolutionary. Money is nothing more than a claim ticket. It is a receipt. That is it. Real wealth isn't the paper in your wallet or the digits on a screen. Real wealth is the stuff we create by bringing human creativity and natural resources together. If we have the wood, the bricks, and the builders, a lack of money should never stop us from building a house. That is absurd. In this better version of reality, every time new wealth is created, new money is created to represent it. It matches perfectly. Money is just a tool that lets a worker say, "I built this thing today, so I can consume something of equal value later." It is a deferral mechanism. In a system based purely on labor, money is just a receipt for work you have already done. You show up to work and boom, you create the money. Employers don't need a stash of cash to pay you. The act of you working creates the value, so the money for your wages is created automatically. It is a direct one-to-one relationship. No banks involved, no interest rates, no borrowing from rich people. Now imagine how this changes business. Right now, if you want to start a company, you have to go beg a bank for a loan, pay massive interest, or give away half your company to investors. Instead, this new system uses something called public credit. It is interest-free. It is a public utility like water or air. Let's look at a concrete example to see how this concept works. Let's say a guy named Joe wants to open a restaurant. In our current world, Joe is probably stressed out, maxing out credit cards, and paying 20% interest. But in this new system, Joe just registers his business. He gets a business account that starts at zero. He orders his stove, his tables, and his ingredients. When he orders them, the suppliers ship the goods, and a transfer receipt is logged. Joe's credit balance at the bank now matches the cost of the order. He didn't need cash up front. He just needed the credit to facilitate the production. Joe hires his staff. When they work, their labor hours are added to the credit balance. Now here is the magic. When customers come in and eat Joe's burgers, they pay with the money their own labor created. When they pay, their labor receipts are destroyed, and Joe's outstanding credit balance goes down. It is a self-cleaning oven. The money exists to facilitate the trade, and once the trade is done and the goods are consumed, the credit extinguishes itself. If Joe's restaurant fails, in the old world, Joe loses his house, his savings, and his sanity. In this new system, we look at the ledger. If nobody is eating the burgers, we stop issuing credit. Joe closes up shop. The stove and tables are recycled or transferred to a new business. The outstanding credit is just erased because it was tied to consumption that didn't happen. It is treated as depreciation. No one loses their personal savings. No one goes hungry. It is just an accounting adjustment. Joe can go find a new passion without the weight of a bankruptcy ruining his life for 7 years. But the most exciting part, the part that will actually make you want to get out of bed in the morning, is how this handles assets like houses, cars, and factories. It is called depreciation pricing. Right now, if you buy a house that is built to last 100 years, the bank makes you pay for it in 25 years. Plus, they charge you interest. By the time you pay off that mortgage, you have likely paid for the house 3 or 4 times over. You pay 400 or 500% of the value just for the privilege of having a roof over your head. That is theft. In this proposed system, there is absolutely no reason to pay for a major asset faster than it actually wears out. If a house costs $720,000 to build and it is designed to last 100 years, you should have 100 years to pay for the depreciation. Do the math. $720,000 divided by 100 years is $7,200 a year. That is $600 a month. Imagine living in a $720,000 home for $600 a month. No interest, no down payment shock, just paying for the wear and tear of the building as you use it. This applies to everything: cars, factories, shopping malls. Businesses wouldn't have to jack up prices to pay off loans quickly. They would only charge enough to cover the true depreciation of their equipment. This means the cost of everything you buy drops through the floor. Your cost of living plummets, but your quality of life skyrockets. This also fixes the issue of planned obsolescence. You know how stuff today is built to break or be upgraded every 2 years so you have to buy it again? That happens because companies need high turnover to pay their debts. In this new system, higher quality assets that last longer become cheaper to own per month. If machinery and equipment last 40 years instead of 10, your monthly payment is 4 times lower. It incentivizes building things that actually last. We would stop filling landfills with junk and start building a world of quality and durability. Let's talk about the public capital private usership concept, because this is where people get confused. This isn't about the government owning everything. You are an entrepreneur. You use public credit to get the assets you need: the machinery, the building, the tools. You control those assets. You have private usership. No one can come take them from you or tell you how to run your shop. But because you used public credit to get them, you can't sell them for a massive profit. You can only transfer them at their depreciated value. This stops people from hoarding housing just to flip it for a profit. It stops the speculation that destroys our economy. Houses become places to live, not investment vehicles for billionaires. If you want to move, you transfer the house to the next person, and they take over the remaining credit balance. Simple, fair, transparent. Think about the psychological freedom this offers. Credit is no longer a weapon used against you. It is not a debt you have to lose sleep over. It is simply a ledger, a way of keeping score of who produced what and who consumed what. It is a public utility accessible to everyone equally. You don't need to be born rich to start a business. You don't need to know the right people to get a loan. You just need to be willing to work and create value. The system we have now forces us to rent money. We are renting the medium of exchange from banks, and the rent is called interest. We are drowning in it. But money is just information. It is data. Why are we paying rent on data? In this labor-based monetary system, money is created by you, the worker. You are the mint. Your labor is the gold standard. When businesses trade with each other in this system, no cash changes hands. They just transfer custody of worker-created assets. The shipper sends goods. The receiver accepts goods. The ledger updates the credit balances. It removes the friction from the economy. We stop worrying about cash flow and start focusing on resource flow. Do we have the materials? Do we have the people? If yes, we build. We don't let private financial handcuffs stop human progress. This is about unlocking human potential. How many geniuses are stuck working 3 dead-end jobs just to pay interest on their student loans? How many amazing business ideas never happened because the bank said no? Under this system, credit is a right, not a privilege. If you have a plan to create wealth, the credit is there to make it happen. And what happens to savings? If you want to save your income, you can. It just means you are deferring your consumption. The inventory of goods sits there waiting for you. The employer who made the goods isn't penalized because there is no interest clock ticking on his inventory. He can afford to wait until you are ready to buy. The pressure cooker of the financial markets disappears. We move from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. We have to realize that the current pain we feel, the inflation, the housing crisis, the crushing debt, is artificial. It is a design feature of a debt-based system. We are paying for the accumulation of private wealth with our public misery. But if we switch to public capital investment, we take back control. We ensure that the benefits of technology and productivity actually go to the people who do the work, not the people who own the loans. So, picture this future. You wake up in a house that costs you a tiny fraction of your income. Your work in a job you love literally creates the credits you receive. You buy products that are built to last a lifetime. You start a business without risking your family's safety. You live in a community where no one is homeless because the cost of housing reflects reality, not speculation. This isn't fantasy, it is just accounting. It is changing the way we keep score. We have the resources, we have the technology, we have the labor. The only thing missing is the decision to stop playing by the old rules that were designed to make us lose. We can build a world where money serves us instead of us serving money. It is time to stop believing the world is flat. It is time to claim the wealth we create.